Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and today I want to talk about the super new moon in Aquarius on January 21st, 2023 at 12:53 p.m. A new moon is where the sun and the moon come together every month to plant seeds that will be nurtured and cared for the next 6 months and then will be harvested. And here in Aquarius, I think we're planting the seeds for a new thought process, for innovating the way that we structure our lives, first through our thoughts, and then our thoughts determining our actions. A belief is a thought that we have repeatedly had. A belief is a dynamic that we usually have. It was planted in our childhood. And oftentimes we carry that belief, whether it works for us or works against us, into our adulthood. I believe that this super new moon in Aquarius will plant the seeds for your liberation from any old structures or old beliefs that have held you back from what you want to experience and what you want to birth in this life's journey. This new moon is conjunct Pluto. Pluto is still in Capricorn, so it's out of sign conjunction. And this takes me to this idea that this new moon is having me look at the structures that Pluto would bring to the surface. Pluto, oftentimes, astrologers refer to it as chaotic, traumatic. It's where we experience death and rebirth. But for me, Pluto's really my friend, because Pluto is illuminating and unearthing the places I've given up my power, where I have looked outside myself for validation, or I've looked outside of myself for the viability of my thriving on this planet. And I've become unaware that my focused thought is contributing to that viability, to that abundance. So here I think this Aquarian new moon at the first degree is the Aries degree. I always think of ones as thought. The master number 11 represents our thoughts. Our thoughts are manifesting very quickly. This is the third new moon in a row at the first degree. There will be a total of 4 of them before we experience the Aries new moon at the 0 degree. The critical degree on the world axis. So the seeds that you've been planting since the Sagittarian new moon, which allowed you to plant new seeds of belief, the Capricorn new moon at 1 degree allowed you the opportunity to start to implement new structures that support the new belief. And now this Aquarian new moon is going to liberate you. It's going to give you the oomph to actually want to, I don't want to use the word push because that doesn't feel aligned, but it's like, it almost feels a little rebellious, because no matter what anybody says to you, there's the potential that you don't necessarily have to align to it. So let me give you an example. I want to birth a YouTube channel. Oh, and somebody says, well, how are you going to do that? How long will it take to grow? Will you make any money? This Aquarian new moon will say it doesn't matter about those human structures. All I get to do is align to the joy of building that channel. And building that, as I am joyous, will bring in the dynamics to support that. This is what I, as an intuitive astrologer, believe is the foundation of the Aquarian age, where humans will incarnate in dynamics that support their thought process, that supports their abundance, and repressive, limiting structures will be dismantled, because they're really not serving the collective, the all of humanity, the cosmic consciousness. And that's what Aquarius represents: the cosmic consciousness, the collective, all of us. Uranus going direct 2 days after this new moon feels very powerful to me, because it will be stationing. It will be anchoring in at the 15th degree of Taurus. The 15th degree is the Gemini degree, the mind that is really invested in my everyday activities. What am I doing? Where am I going? And it's the routines of our lives where we're almost operating unconsciously. It can also be the part of our mind that runs the scenarios of loss and of vulnerability and of fear. So I believe that Mars's 7-month transit in Gemini is asking us to be brave, pioneering, and courageous rather than angry, resentful, and warrior in being aware of our thoughts. And then we go through this idea of taking this Aquarian energy and liberating ourselves from things that seem repressive or seem restrictive. Well, I've never experienced that, but I'm going to try. And I'm going to be aware of what my belief system is as I take that endeavor. Because it is my belief that as you experience the power of your thoughts, you will truly experience your divinity. And as you experience your divinity, others will experience you as a magical being on this planet. But really what you are is a lighthouse in the middle of a storm, saying, come see me as I shine my light, regardless of outside circumstances, regardless of the fear-based media input that feels chronic at this point. I think this is going to be very powerful. And I think that the people that are grabbing onto this idea, grabbing onto the idea that it's not about positive thinking. I want to be really clear about that, because positive thinking is actually the resistance of negativity. And that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is an awareness of my thoughts that says, oh, there's a pattern thought. I'm not lovable. I don't make money. Does that pattern thought support where I want to go? Okay, well, maybe I haven't made any money up until now, but that doesn't mean I can't make money moving forward. Venus is going to be conjunct Saturn in Aquarius during this supermoon. Venus will be at 23 degrees Aquarius and Saturn will be at 24 degrees Aquarius. 23 degrees is the Aquarius degree. Venus is getting to be liberated from the perceptions of others to determine her self-worth. And Saturn is saying at the 24th degree of Pisces, stay in that spiritual lane and I will support. When I say spiritual, it's the connection to the other side. It's the connection to the divine laws of the universe. The law of attraction is as viable and powerful as gravity. And because the human can see, I throw the apple up in the air, the apple comes to the ground, we buy into that. In this new moon, we're going to start to say to ourselves, I may not have experienced it yet, but as I put attention on it, I know that I will draw that experience to me. Now I'm going to align my thoughts to the higher vibration of what I want to experience. I feel like this is super powerful. We were going to have 5 planets in air signs. So we'll have the sun and the moon, and Venus and Saturn in Aquarius, and we will have Mars in Gemini. So this is a strong focus on thought. And then we have planets in fixed signs. We have the 4 planets in Aquarius are fixed, and Uranus is fixed in Taurus. And so to me now, this is an opportunity where I can be determined in my fixed energy to allow for myself to be liberated in a way that doesn't force me to be a banshee, to be. When we think sometimes of Aries energy, we think of the warrior, we think of sort of this pillaging energy. It doesn't feel good. And yet our military produces heroes. Aries is the fireman that goes into the fire and saves the kitten. And this is the rewriting of things. So I really want to encourage those of you watching this video, if you feel this fixed energy, if you feel this, this is the way I do it and I don't shift, it's an opportunity for you to ask yourself, is this working for you? Is this line of thought really supporting where you want to be? Or is it inadvertently a habit of being? Because you put that fixed energy in the lane, it's kind of like Saturn. If you put that fixed energy in your abundance and determined and stay steadfast in that, you will create abundance in whatever avenue or whatever genre of your life that you want to have flourish. Now, while this isn't directly related to the new moon, Pluto is going to continue moving forward in Capricorn from the 28th degree, which is a 1, to the 29th degree, which is an 11, the master number of thought. And then it will move for 3 months into Aquarius at the 0 degree. All the seeds that you've been planting for the last few months, and including the seeds you plant in the next 2 months, will start to show evidence of their viability. And while other structures may be crumbling around you, we may see on the world axis old structures, authorities, even companies that we are used to having as staples in our lives. Those things may change. Well, they will change. It's not a matter of way or when. I'm sorry, it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. I have Mercury, I have the South Node on my Mercury, and it's really messing with my words. So please bear with me, because I truly believe that as we look at things from an innovative place, how can I liberate myself from where I've been? Am I willing to seem alien to some people? Am I willing to put my hopes and dreams at the forefront, at the priority of my life? Or am I continuing to take a back seat to another agenda? And that other agenda will be like, well, I get a paycheck every week, but I hate my job. And so, you know, you're being able to liberate yourself from the hating your job. And it doesn't mean you have to leave your job, but it's about mentally compartmentalizing what that job has to offer you versus it being a lifeline. And I'm using that as an example because the two big areas where people give up their power is in their money sector and in their love sector. And Pluto will bubble up both of those things because Pluto rules sex and it rules money and it rules transformation. So this is really, it may feel disruptive, but at the same time, I don't see energetically how to implement new structures and keep the old structures in place because the old structures are so out of balance. So I think this is a really, really powerful energy. And I also think there's an acceleration of experiences. Mars will be moving direct in Gemini. All the planets, once Uranus moves forward, will be direct for the next few months. And I think it isn't until Pluto goes retrograde again that we start to experience a little bit of a slowdown. But at the same time, Pluto moves so slowly that when it goes retrograde back into Capricorn, it's going to give us another opportunity to review how we have built the house of our mind. What is the repeated story? And I want to offer this as sort of an opportunity to balance it. Because when you say to spirit, you know, I have a habit of thought, and I don't know how to change that habit. Give me an experience to help support the new version of me, the liberated version of me. Because we really get to remember that Aquarius in general represents hopes and dreams. It represents an ability to feel abundant monetarily. It represents reward over time, because Saturn is the co-ruler of Aquarius. And I am not going to make Saturn the big bad guy, because most people do. Saturn doesn't assign us our duty. Saturn holds our feet to the fire to that duty. So when we choose a lane that brings us excitement and joy, Saturn will report the same energies, expecting you to persevere beyond your own comfort in order to achieve that. But when we pick a lane that appears safe but is not truly safe, then Saturn is very difficult to deal with. When I was younger and astrology was not a cool career, my parents coached me into getting my real estate license or working at a bank. Neither of those options seemed very palatable to me or fun. I did endeavor both of them, only to fail at them because I didn't really have a passion for them. And this is where I think Aquarius is so beautiful, because there is a lot of passion here, but the passion isn't necessarily emotional. The passion is like for the world to be a better place. Aquarius doesn't necessarily feel like it's one-on-one. Ooh, I want you to be happy. I want everyone to be happy. And so this is an opportunity to look at yourself as one of the cogs in the wheel of everyone being happy. And as you claim that, and as you claim your thoughts, am I in a repetitive pattern of beliefs that don't serve my blossoming, my prosperity, my abundance? And that's in my body, in my wallet, in my love life, in all the genres of the human experience. Because I think that as those of us become aware of our thoughts, we will almost appear magical to other people, as we don't experience the same highs and lows that others do. On a global level, I think what we're going to see is, or on a structural level, but I do think it's a global level, we're going to see old structures and authorities becoming almost more repressive. I almost get like a bullying energy a little bit, because as we become aware of our thoughts, we become more independent and less dependent upon those structures that didn't really serve us. So when we look at this idea of Saturn and Uranus ruling Aquarius, we see Capricorn, Saturn representing what has been, and then we see Uranus and Aquarius offering us what can be. And I think with Uranus moving forward in Taurus, this is going to be about how we make our money, and how that will be how we feel about ourselves. And I believe that while Taurus is a fixed sign, I think that when we apply the higher vibrations of tenacity, of determination, which would be very fixed, with my awareness of my thoughts, now I have a real recipe for long-term success. So I think this is really exciting. And just on a bit of a side note, we have also been experiencing a series of full moons at the 16th degree of Cancer. This is about self-care. This is about trusting my gut, trusting my inner knowing. And sometimes the authorities will say, you know, well, you can't do that, or how do you know how to do that? Or this is how it's always been. And when we start to rebel against what's always been, but not to them. I don't want to fight them. I just want to go internally and put my beam up and say to Spirit, let me represent the possibilities. Let me be the lighthouse for others as they witness me shine my light. So I am on some level being rebellious against what you tell me versus what I know I'm able to be as a spiritual being inhabiting a human experience. I'm 63 years old. When I was 50, I had my wisdom teeth out, and my dentist said to me, Teri, you're old now. You're not going to heal as quickly. And I said to him, don't put that seed in my mind. That's not true. And then I went back 3 days later for my checkup, and I was almost completely healed. Don't let anybody tell you who you are. Don't let anybody tell you what you want to be in the world. Allow this Aquarian energy to work for you. Stand fearless and bravely in your pioneering energy as you take on those thoughts that haven't served you. And rather than villainizing them or feeling regret or shame for having them, allow them to be the black spot that makes your color pop. Because as we move through 2023, our outside structures are going to change dramatically and give us a glimpse of what we will experience when Aquarius makes its final move into Aquarius in 2024 and stays there until, 2024 and stays there until 2044. And I'll be almost 100 years old by then. So I think this is very exciting. Don't let Pluto scare you. Just think of Pluto as your friend, because Pluto, when it unearths imbalance, it can feel a little unsettling in the beginning. But Pluto, like your guides and your angels, is working for you, not against you. When you start to see the malefics are not really malefic, they're just breaking up that old imbalanced structure that we've become so used to for centuries and centuries. All right, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please subscribe, please share, and please comment. I don't always get a chance to respond to your comments, but I read them, and I'm so blessed that you all take the time to even do that. And please join me on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where we get the angels' advice for traversing the week ahead and the transits that we'll be experiencing. And enjoy this supermoon, because I think it really has an opportunity to give us hope and faith for the future. And it may look like the rest of the world is going to hell in a handbag, but I think for those of us that are willing to be a pioneer, willing to look outside the box, willing to go where no man has gone before with our thoughts, and that's being brave. Oh, I'm brave because I'm not villainizing myself, but just understanding that I was imprinted with human dynamics. And now I'm going to start to operate on a more spiritual dynamic, on something that I can't see with my eyes, but I can feel with my heart. All right, guys, that's it. Have a lovely new moon, and I will be back on Sunday with our live at 11 a.m. Pacific. All right, everybody. Peace out.